Also, another mini tip, don't expect training your core to get you abs because it will not. I started lifting weights consistently almost 2 years ago, and there's a lot that I didn't know, and there were a lot of mistakes that I made. This video is 10 mistakes all beginners in the gym make, and that's a blanket statement, so to keep it a little more genuine, these are all mistakes that I actually made. If I could go back, I'd give myself a syringe. If I could go back, I would tell myself, hey, you knock it off. That's bad. Before I begin, I have some honorable mentions. So not stretching, obvious. Not drinking enough water. Make sure you're drinking water even when you don't feel thirsty while you're working out. And not wearing deodorant. Still single. In no particular order, here's number 1, ignoring other forms of progressive overload besides just increasing the weight. So what's progressive overload, first of all? It's making your lift harder than it was the last time you did it. What are ways you can progressively overload? You can increase the weight, that's the most common way, but there are other things you can do. You can change up the rhythm of your rep. So for example, you can go really slow on the way down and explode up, as opposed to just going like this. Another way you can do it is to do pause reps. 1, 2, bang, push it up. Another way you can do it is to just work on your form. Yeah, you did 135 for 10 on the bench, but your last rep was kind of a... and you want to make it a little better, so do it again with better form, better control of the weight. Another thing you can do if you're really out here trying to push a plate on the bench for 10 reps, for example, but you can only get 7 or 8, drop the weight down, drop it down to 115 and hit that for 15 reps. Do 3 sets of 15 with that. That'll also help you get stronger. I was just focused on the weight on the bar, but little did I know. Up next, rep ranges. Mix those bad boys up. Don't always do 3 sets of 10. Do 4 sets of 6. Do 3 sets of 15. Viable sets, and this is like scientific shit that I'm not qualified to talk about, but anywhere from 4 to 25 reps I've seen in like programs. I've seen 4 reps if you're powerlifting trying to get stronger. I've seen 25 if you're really trying to burn out your muscle and get like maximum hypertrophy for muscle building. But no matter what you do, mix it up. Don't do the same rep ranges for each exercise every single time you go. All right, number 3, I didn't track the progression of the weights I was lifting. I would go in there and freestyle it. I'd pick my exercises. First of all, I didn't have a plan. I'd pick my exercises, freestyle it, and I wouldn't have any structure. Like it wouldn't make sense. There would be no proper reason to do the weight. Because if I go in there and I do 40s on incline press, if I have a plate in the bench and I do 3 sets of 10, and then the next time I go in, I have a plate in the bench and I do 3 sets of 8 to 9, like that's not getting better. And you're not gonna lift more weight every time unless you're on something. So that's another thing. Little mini tip is don't expect to be stronger every time you go into the gym, but you should at least track your weight. So that way, if you do see that you're doing the same weight and you're getting less reps, you probably need a rest. And just a final point on that, if you see the weight and the numbers go up, it makes you feel a lot better and a lot more motivated to go next time. All right, number 4, I didn't eat before lifting. And why didn't I do that? Well, first of all, I was never really a breakfast kid. I just kind of got up and did my thing. That's just the school life. You get up like 20 minutes before school starts and you just go. I also thought that if you lifted fasted, you were burning fat and you would lose more fat and you'd be leaner, and that's not the case. Calories in, calories out. I could do my fasted workout and then I could eat like 3 pizzas and then that didn't really matter, did it? Number 5, I didn't train each muscle group twice a week. Now, I obviously have the goal of bodybuilding, so you might not have to do this. You could go in and train once a week or whenever you can. However, my goal is bodybuilding. You should train each muscle group twice a week. Wasn't really doing that. What's the problem with that? Well, you could overtrain certain muscles and then you have muscle imbalances, and you overtraining some muscles comes with undertraining other muscles, which can lead to muscle imbalances and certain weak points you don't even know about, which brings me to point number 5, I think, or 6, I think it's 5. Don't neglect your core. Your core is a muscle group, just like everything else. Train that bad boy at least once or twice a week, please. It'll help your stabilization, your compound lifts. I noticed that when I was doing pull-ups, I kept swinging back and forth because I didn't have any control of my lower half of my body because my core was so weak. I also developed lower back pain from having a really loose core, and my lower back was like overcompensating for that. So train your core, guys. Also, another mini tip, don't expect training your core to get you abs because it will not. Okay, I believe this is number 7. It's kind of sad that I haven't been able to keep track. But don't only do compound lifts to progress your compound lifts. Something I did, I was in the gym deadlifting like 3 days a week because I really wanted to hit that 405 deadlift. And you know what really got me to that 405 deadlift? Hitting legs, hitting back, doing hamstring workouts. Working on grip strength too is another one. It's really important to hit those secondary muscles doing isolation exercises. Another example is to increase your bench. If you hit your triceps a lot, bigger triceps, probably gonna increase your bench. So don't focus on those compound lifts every time, which is another segue. Number 8, don't max out every week. Okay, that's another thing. You want to go into the gym, you want to feel good, and you want to look big in front of all the cute girls that you're never going to talk to. So you go ahead and throw your max on the bar every single time. You got 3 of your friends spotting you, and you push it up. I mean, it's like, good job, but what did it do? All right, up next, I didn't really care about rest. I didn't really pay much attention to how long I was resting in between sets. Do you have to be super meticulous and time everything to the second? No. But this can only be a problem when it interferes with your progressive overload. So let me explain. You do 4 sets of the same weight. The first set you get 10, you rest 2 minutes, you get 9, you rest 2 minutes, you get 9, you rest 2 minutes, you get 8. Great. The next week you do the same thing. First set, you get 10, maybe you get 11 because you progressed. Then you get 11 again, but you rested like 4 minutes. And then you get 11 again, but you rested like 5 minutes. So you just want to be careful with how much time you're giving yourself in between sets. If your goal is to max out, you know, you're in there, you're maxing out, you're doing it properly after like an 8-week training period and you're ready to max out and you're building up to your max weight, freaking pop a squat, dude. Dude, bring a chair. Like, honestly, like, rest, like, as long as your body needs to be able to hit that max. But other than that, just make sure you have somewhat of an idea of how long you're resting. All right, number 10 and the last tip is I didn't go to failure on every single set. The other thing I'm gonna say about that is the first program I bought was a Jeff Nifford program. No, but for real, don't leave reps in the tank. Always make sure you have a spotter if it's going to be dangerous for you to go to failure. It can't hurt you to try as hard as you can. You're not going to try as hard as you can and then fall apart the next day. There's all these scientific studies and debate and literature and all that, and at the end of the day, if you go into the gym and you try as hard as you can, but you're safe and you make sure you're eating enough food to recover and you give yourself rest days, it can't hurt you. Go as hard as you can. All right, and those are my tips for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and drop a subscribe. My Instagram and TikTok will be in the description down below.